First of all, congratulations to all the people inaugurated. It's been awesome to be here. And, to you 1999 people, I'm on staff at Sageview, and I walk around there as the new school in town, and it's like, I remember back to the days when we were in Fruitland, because I was here in 96. So, anyway, so I'm here to induct Cassie, my very, very good friend. And I met her in 1997 when she was eight, yeah, and she swam on a club team that I was coaching for. So, and right there, she was simply a ball of fire, and I think anybody that knows her would agree with that. And I'm so emotional and humbled to be talking about you today. You're one of my favorite people in the world, man. So, when I think about this, and I had a job interview once that said, what 3 terms would describe you as a coach? Well, I'm going to tell you this for you as an athlete. Term number 1, competitor. She is the most competitive person I've ever coached. And I go back to something. Steve Bean was a big fan of Cassie. And we were talking one day in his office about this and that, and Cassie played basketball her junior year. And I said, so, how's Cassie in the basketball court? Because I knew she played AAU when she was younger and all that type of stuff. And she was like straight up, because back then Southridge basketball, girls basketball kind of struggled a little bit. And she said, Cassie makes our basketball team competitive. She's fiery, she's feisty, she hated losing. Oh man, did she hate losing. And that's what I get out of that. The next term I have for her, she is a great human. She always has been. She cares about the people she's around, like so many of us that are in this room today. But she's really transcended that to later in life. In her job, she runs the office for Bob Rhodes, her family business, and she uses that forum as far as marketing and really sponsors several programs, several here at Southridge, specifically girl programs. And you talk with her, and she is so proud and so advocating for girls in sports. And she's doing something about it. She's doing stuff that matters. And being a coach of a girls program here at Southridge, really appreciate it. So, and the last one I have here is determined. Oh my goodness gracious, is she determined. If there's a task put in front of her, it is next level, it's going to happen. It's going to happen. You can see that look in her eye that she's always had. Cassie, every kid I've coached now for 30 years. Every kid I've coached since you knows about Cassie Hamilton. Every single one. And it isn't even about how fast you are. You were fast, no question, but it is about the type of person that you are. So, my story that I want to talk about, and actually Steve would tell you it was one of his favorite moments ever being an athletic director, was in swimming, we go and we have dual meets against different teams. And we definitely had a rivalry with Richland back then. As far as swimmers go. And she will tell you the same thing. Borderline beef, right? Borderline beef. And we were a little thinner than they were. We were faster in some ways, but we were a little thinner, so I had to put Cassie in specific events in order to give us a chance to win that dual meet. And what I did was, event 6 is 100 fly, and event 7 is 100 freestyle. That's what she did. And I was able to plug in some JV swimmers in there to give her about a 3 or 4 minute break. She does 100 fly. I don't care if you go faster, you still 100 flies hard. It's just as hard. She goes in there and wins 100 fly. And she goes and she jumps in the warm-up pool, and she's swimming down, and we're watching one of these girls from Richland who ended up getting 6 to state and 100 free. We knew she was fast. Her name was Michelle McDonald. And Cassie's walking her, getting up there, and she was like, come on. I was like, you got this, girl. Let's go. So she gets up there, and it's Michelle against Cassie. And Bean thinks I'm crazy for putting Cassie in this spot. Well, they battle. They go back and forth. Cassie was faster in the water. Michelle was a little better at the walls. And Cassie goes 54.24. Michelle goes 54.3. Michelle was rested. Cassie had 3 minutes rest after 100 fly. That is how determined she is. That is how it is. She never lost a Big 9 meet. Never lost in a Big 9 meet. Not ever. Freshman to senior year, she never lost. And she's talented, but there were more talented out there. It was because of your determination. And so much respect for that. So anyway, kudos to you, Cassie, for that. That's my story. I'll tell you, Steve Bean was literally on top of my coach's table. It was crazy. He was literally have to go just flexing his muscles and doing the Steve Bean thing and all that type of stuff. It was pretty amazing. So, Cassie's accomplishments. I have a list here. By the way, Wells told me it'd only be between 2 and 5 minutes. I want you to know, no one else has been between 2 and 5 minutes. He told me, go shut up, Jason. Don't be talking too much. All right, bear with me here. Undefeated in Big 9 meets. All right, undefeated. Easily, and she swam everything. And this goes with it. She qualified for state by time in every event. All 4 years. Freshman, sophomore, junior, senior. I don't think there are more than 2 or 3 people in the state that have done that. It's pretty amazing. And at the last dual meet, when she did, Mr. Bean walked up and gave her a plaque. You still have that plaque? A plaque of all the stuff that she did and all this and that. She was all 4 years top 8 in state. Top 8 in state. First 2 years, she did 100 breaststroke, 200 IM. Second 2 years, she did 100 backstroke, 200 IM. Pretty amazing feat. Among that, she got second in the 200 IM twice. She got second in the 100 back once. And then culminating it in 2005 with one of the gutsiest performances I've ever seen. She was state champion in the 200 IM. It was pretty amazing. And she did that. Michael Jordan, game 5 of whatever, 1996, 97 finals, had nothing on her because she got out, she was booking by me, and she was like, I can't talk right now. She's running the bathroom, and Micah, her teammate that's back there, was telling stories about how she was thrown up in the bathroom after that swim. The swim was crazy because it was like, in prelims, she wasn't feeling real good. She was seated 6 coming out of prelims, and way out in lane 7, she had probably a second lead coming out of the 50 fly. Do you remember that? And we were like, fly, all right, Cass, whatever. She definitely worked and finished it. State champion, no one's ever going to take that away from me. It's pretty amazing. She did that sick as a dog. It was crazy. But anyway, so much guts and so much perseverance. She also, after throwing up, proceeded to do the 100 backstroke, swam finals, and then she anchors our 400 free relay that we had at the end of the meet going 54-1. It was an impressive day. You had faster swims. That day was so much more impressive because it showed your heart. So the type of heart that all us coaches want to teach our kids, you know what I'm saying? So anyway, I'll continue. Up until 2016, she held every single school record individually. And then she still holds 4 records. I was wrong. I actually went to school today to check. Yeah, she holds the 200 free. That's the one we didn't know about. She holds the 100 back, the 200 IM, and 100 breaststroke. She was an All-American. She was an All-American, 3-time All-American, and had qualified with the consideration times otherwise. So it's pretty impressive. She was a 2-time league district swimmer of the year. She was a district champ all 4 years, both her events. That's an 8-time district champ. She led our relays to some pretty incredible swims. We had districts her junior year up in Ellensburg, and it was homecoming, right? And these girls, they set the meet record in the 400 free relay. We're just going crazy. And then I hear stories 2 hours later where they are dancing the night away with their chlorine hair, But yeah, totally. It's such a cool story. So anytime girls complain to me about homecoming, I'm like, it was different back in the day. All-American 03, 04, 05. We once had this meet in Idaho, and I promised her I'd tell her the story because she told me about it twice. And when you go to Idaho, there are boys and girls that swim in Idaho. And I was always just trying to find different stuff for us to do and compete with. And we were at this little pool in Plummer, Idaho, a reservation pool. It was a fun trip. We slept on the floor in some school. And we go to this meet, and there was a boy sitting there talking trash about having to swim against a girl and how he's going to whip their, what, right? Well, Cassie got wind of this, and Cassie killed him. Oh my goodness, it wasn't even close. And then she comes over here. I was like, dude, you made him cry. True story. Yeah, true story. He was weeping and so upset because he got beat by Cassie Hamilton. And the thing is, most of us know Cassie Hamilton was beating just about anybody. Yeah, it didn't matter. So, but But we were talking about that yesterday at lunch. So we all talked. She went to Michigan State on a scholarship. She traveled all sorts of different places. I think she actually came back and told me about a trip to South Carolina. Yeah, so, but she went over there, got her degree and all that type of stuff. I would probably say, in my opinion, she's the best swimmer we've ever had out of Southridge. She's one of 2 state champions that we've had. And I can tell you, without hesitation, she is the most versatile swimmer I've ever coached. Everything. She could do everything, man. And, and all that aside, my favorite memory of you, my favorite coaching accomplishment was helping you be a leader, helping you be the great teammate that you are, and then sit there and have conversations with you now, and you understand what the sports are all about. You think so many people with her resume, it was just about the competition, it was just about that. No, it's about every single person on that team. And she treated all the girls so wonderfully, and that makes my heart melt. Most of all, working with you was fun because I'm feisty, she's feisty, her teammates are feisty. She was part of the 6-pack that we got 6th at state in 2004. She was part of that, and that feistiness and this and that. I mean, her and Mikey used to make me listen to baseball games because they were Yankee fans. Don't fault us. But yeah, we did. We listened to the Yankee Red Sox games during practice back then in 04. So I can say that your legacy was felt. Anybody that knows anything about what was going on, I think you made swimming relevant at Southridge. And 3-4 years later, our team of 12 that we had your freshman year, we had 55 kids on that team. And I'm telling you right now, Cassie, that was about some of that swagger and attitude that you brought, to us and for us. I'm humble, and I'm grateful that you gave me the opportunity to speak for you and celebrate one of my favorite people on one of my favorite teams I've ever coached. Let's give it up for Cassie Hamilton.
So this year is actually 20 years since I graduated, and public speaking has not gotten easier, so I'm really sorry. I'll do my best. It's actually really cool to get this here. When I was born, my grandparents had a pool, and it was really important that we all learned how to swim just in case something happened, and my very first swim lessons were actually here when it was the country club, so I actually learned to swim in that pool. The other thing is, a couple years ago, Zintel started doing their own honoree. And for people who put a lot of work into the club and just helped it out every way they could. And the first person they nominated was actually my dad. So he has a plaque downstairs. And for those of you I gave golf passes to, if anyone wants more, I still have them. But down at the pro shop, there's a nice little memorial for him. And there's a rock that says Birdie for Bob. So if you ever go down there, that's my dad. And I like to think he's here right now. Okay, get over that. Swimming was very controversial when I was swimming. I know it sounds silly because it's girls' sports, but it's definitely interesting when I was going through Southridge. There's no way I could have made it all 4 years if it wasn't for Jason. He's a chameleon of a coach. He does not coach the sport, he coaches the athlete, and he'll get to know every athlete, what makes them tick, what makes them motivate them, their goals, and he just knows how to make the best out of everyone come out. And it was so cool with our team. There was club swimmers, ex-club swimmers, age group swimmers, and there's people who've never swam before that would try out. And Jason would just get to know all of them and just created this culture where we're all in different levels, but everyone cared about everyone. And it was important, everyone racing, we all cared what they did and we knew what they were going for. And it was just such a wonderful environment. And growing up in sports, I had dozens of coaches, but I never had a coach 55 kids, he knew every single one how they would operate. So for me, I was very competitive and didn't like getting told what I couldn't do. So right before big races, when he'd do the 100 fly and then 100 free back to back like that, he would just walk up to me and be like, "So Richland coaches don't think you can do this," and he knew how I felt about them, and that really pissed me off. So that definitely got me going. He did that quite a bit. He knew he'd just hear little things and keep in his back pocket and would just present it at the right time, the right moment, just to fire me up. And it was great, kept the challenges going. I think one of the greatest things about swimming and just high school sports, I am in a position now, and no offense to anyone here, but I only sponsor girls' sports because I just think it's so important for girls to be in that community because it's so much more than just a sport itself. Something like I really appreciate now is Micah and I have been friends for 3 decades, and that started because of swimming. We met when she joined the club team, and apparently afternoon practices and weekend swim meets weren't enough, so we harassed her parents an obnoxious amount until they let her go to public school so we could go to school together full time. And then we got to go to high school together and swim in the swim team, and our relay held the record. We had all 3 relay records together, and just having that moment with your best friend is just so cool. And I know 2 of the records have been broken, which is wonderful because that shows how well the program's still doing. And I mean, we graduated and I got to visit her in every region she got to live in, and now she's a mom. It's just so cool, and sports are just so much bigger than that. And I'm just so grateful that my parents just had that mentality of tired kids aren't going to get in trouble, so we're going to put them in every sport possible. So I'm just really grateful. And so I just thank you. Keep it short and sweet because this is terrifying. So thank you so much. Appreciate it.